guys, time for another lesson video for one of my songs off of the EP I just released a couple weeks ago. This song is My Fingers Hurt, and for those of you who don't know what that's from, that's actually a quote from Happy Gilmore. So, I don't know, I always thought that section was hilarious, but anyway, this will probably be a little long of a video because I'm going to go through all the rhythm parts first, and then I'm going to go through all the lead parts after, so it'll probably be a bit lengthy. The first song is only 2 minutes long, and that one took me like 15 to 20 minutes to explain the whole thing, so hopefully it doesn't take that long, but it probably will, if not longer. So anyway, I am in half step down, but I'm also drop on this low string, so it's like half step down all the way, and then this is like a D flat. So it'll sound like this. So the intro, probably one of my favorite riffs that I ever wrote, and it goes like this. So I do a lot on that open string, and it's the chords kind of start off, or they kind of revolve around a 5 on the A string. I'm just gonna refer to these all as like normal tunings, but technically this is an A flat or a G sharp, but I'm just going to call it the A string. So a 5 on the A string, and it starts off with a 4 on the D, and then it goes to a 5 and a 5, and then back to that 5 and a 4, and then it'll go up to a 5 and a 7. So slowly it sounds like this. So a little bit of a rhythm there. It starts on the 4, then the 5, back to the 4, and it goes up to the 7, and the 5 and the 4 again. So, and in between a lot of those, you'll notice I'm doing a lot of. So that's the first part, and then the second part goes to like a power chord on the 5, starting on the low string, and then it just does, so it's 5 5 5. Sound like a phone number. So 5 5 5, and then it goes up to a 5 5 7, and then down to a power chord on the 2, so 2 2 2. Then back up to that same chord progression. So the whole thing slow sounds like this. And that's just, like a big D chord. So when it goes into that verse, it's just a 0 0 0 2 3. You can add the 2 on the last string if you really want to, but I usually don't add it. For that whole intro part, that's the only thing really going on. There's no extra parts or lead parts really. It's just 2 different guitars playing that section. And if you're curious, this song was actually recorded with my old Sunburst Jazzmaster that had the Bare Knuckle Stockholm in it, and it was that mixed with my Fiesta Red Strat before I made so many changes to it. You can probably see it back there. When it was still like a Tom DeLonge style guitar. That's how long ago I recorded this song. And that had a Bare Knuckle Juggernaut in it at the time. Anyway, next part, like I said, starts on that. So this is kind of like the verse. there's like a verse 1 and like a verse 2, or you could say like there's a verse and a pre-chorus. Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go with first part 1 here. So it goes like this. So that's the whole verse part 1 for the rhythm guitar. Pretty simple. Like I said, it's just that first chord, which is 0, 0, 0, 2, 3. And then usually before I switch chords, I'll do like a quick open chord. So it'll go. And that would be a 5, 5, and a 7 starting on the low string. So. And then I go down to a 4 on the low string, a 5 on the next, and then a 7. And then back up to the 5, 5, 7. So pretty easy. There is some leads on that, but like I said, I'll get to that later. So the next part, after you build up, so you go through like the whole thing twice, and then when you get back to this chord, you start to palm mute a little bit and build it up a little bit, and it goes like this. So it's just a pretty simple variation from the part before that, and this is what I'm going to call, verse part 2 or whatever. So it's just that same open 0, 0, 0, 2, 3, and then same thing 5, 5, 7. But then you're going down to 2, 2, 2, and then back up to the 5, 5, 7. So other than those chords, all you really have to worry about is just the rhythm part. So it'll go like this. So there's a little bit of chugging in there, little fast rhythm parts, but you'll get it. So after you do that twice, I like to slide off that last chord, because then it goes to a 2, 2, 2, then a quick 4, 5, and then a 5, 5, 5. So, and in between those, I'm doing palm muted open notes. Wait, no, I'm not doing open notes. I'm doing just palm mutes on those chords, so you're not going to be lifting up, so it'll be. Sometimes I forget how to play my own songs. And then you go back down to that last chord, which is a 4 and a 5, and then back up to a 5, 5, and that ends on the 7, 7, 7. And that's it for like the pre-chorus, I guess you could say. Or the build-up to the chorus, whatever you want to call it. And then the chorus for the rhythm is pretty simple. It's just a couple of the same chords we've been doing, except for it starts on that chord there. So, like I said, it starts on this chord, which is a 2 on the second string, and then a 4 on the next string. And then it goes down to that same 5, 5, 7 that we've been using a lot. And then I kind of do like a roll off to an open note. 5/7 on the second and third string, and a 4/7. So it's just starting on that 5/7, and then from the 4/7 it just slides back up. So slowly the whole chorus for the rhythm goes like this. You do that 4 times and then it ends on. So those are just the same first 2 chords, and it just kind of palm mutes out. And then it goes right back to the intro again, which is the... Don't have to teach you that again. Then it goes to the second verse, part 1, which is a little different because it's like a little more upbeat, and this part for the rhythm goes like this. And that's when the rhythm part's going like this, or this is when the lead part's going like this. So it's a pretty simple for the rhythm section, just the same chords as the first verse. Just that open chord, 5/5/7, 4/5/7, and back up to the 5/5/7. But that rhythm, the way that you actually do the rhythm is kind of important because it accents a lot of the lead parts. So after that, it just does the same thing for the second part of the verse, which is just... twice, and then same thing for the rhythm again for the pre-chorus, or the build-up to the chorus, which is the... Same thing. Chorus is the same thing, nothing changes for that, for the rhythm either. And then once that chorus ends, it goes like this. From that last chord ringing out, which is just that open chord, it's kind of 2 rhythm parts together for this next section, because I do like I do this part, but then I also start doing... So I'm just going to show you both rhythm parts because that's when like the lead guitar solo comes in. So I'm not going to really say that it's, the lead part. So anyway, first part goes like this. It's a 7 on the A string and a 5 on the D string. And then it goes down to a 5 and a 4 on those same 2 strings. And then a 9 and a 7. To a 10 and a 9. And this section, surprisingly enough, actually wasn't written by me. It was written by the drummer of the band that I was in, because I originally wrote this song for the band that I was in with my friend Dave at the time, and things kind of fell apart. So I ended up just using this song because I knew it had potential. So, but yeah, he can't play guitar very well at all, but he still had just a really cool build-up idea, and he just kind of made it work, even though he really can't play guitar almost at all. But it makes for a really great build-up. So thank you, Nate. So 7/5, 5/4, 9/7, and then 10/9. And then the heavier part comes in, which is just a couple of the low power chords. So it's just 2/2/2, and then goes to an open, and then 4/5, and then 5/5. And then this is right when the guitar solo starts, and each rhythm part's just doing the same exact thing, just heavy chords. Same thing with this one. So, like I said, that's when I'm doing the guitar solo. And then after the guitar solo is done, it goes to the ending of the song, which has a rhythm part. It has a second rhythm part, which I'm gonna say the lead guitar is gonna be playing, and then it has a little lead part over it that actually Grant Henry plays. And it's just like a little noodle in there that sounds pretty cool. But anyway, the rhythm part goes like this. And that just repeats. That repeats 4 times, I believe. So just a 5 and a 5, or 5/5/5, whichever you prefer. And then you go to that open chord, and then quickly you go to a 4 and a 5, and then back to that open chord, and then quickly to a 2/2/2, and then back up to that, 4/5. So slowly that first part goes. I fucked that up, sorry. So that's the first part. The second part's almost identical, except it ends on a different section. So it's the same thing through the whole thing, except for the last chord is a 5 and a 7 on the A chord, or on the A and the D string. So altogether that part goes. And then, so that part plays once, and then the second part comes in, but like I said, that part actually plays 4 times, and it goes, no, it goes like this. So those are just octave chords. It's a 5 and a 7, and then it goes to a 7 and a 9, and it just slides up, and then a 9 and an 11. This will be on the A string and the G string, and then 10, 12, then quickly back to that 9, 11. 9, 11, I shouldn't say that. And I'm also doing a couple open, like, palm mutes in between some of those. And the second part of that goes 12 and a 14, and slides down to a 10 and a 12. So, and then, so it's just kind of a descent. It just starts on a 9, 11, a 7, 9, and then a 5, 7. So that whole second section goes. So anything else you hear for like the little lead parts, like I said, is played by Grant, who also does all the bass and all the drums. And I actually don't know how to play this part. If you really, really want to know, you could ask him. His YouTube channel is just under Stemage, STEMAGE. Maybe he'll make a little video for it, maybe not, I don't know. But those are the main sections for the whole thing. for the rhythm anyway, so. And then the first rhythm part, the heavier part, just ends on. And then the second rhythm part ends like. I feel like I added something to that. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was just. I don't know. I'm gonna say that, just an octave chord, so it ends just that open note for the first rhythm part, and then for the second rhythm part. So that's it for all the rhythm sections. I'm just gonna cut the video right now just so I can do a second video for the leads. And yeah, the rhythms for this whole song really isn't too complicated, but if you have any questions on it, just let me know. So here we go with the lead section. Okay, so it's time for the lead section of My Fingers Hurt, and everything I pretty much told you for the rhythm for the intro stays the same. You know, it starts off with the rhythm guitar one time through, and then, you know, it goes back to the lead guitar just jumping in and doing the same exact thing. Nothing changes. And so when it goes to that first ring out part for the verse, that's what the rhythm's doing. But the lead is going like this. So, playing mostly on the top three strings. So I got my ring finger on a 7 on the G string. I got my ring finger on the G string. That sounds good. Then a 5 on the B string. So, and then I'm just doing like a pull off thing with my pinky on the 7th fret on the B string. So. That's the first part, and then it goes. So that's a 7, pretty much starting on a 7 and a 7 on the G and the B. Go up to an 8 on the B. Back to the 7, and then back to the 8. And then to the 10, and then 8, 7, 8. So, and then back to that same first part, nothing changes there. And then the last part of that is a little different. It goes, no. Yeah, that's how it goes. So, so you're still doing that 7 and the 5 on the G and the B string. So you're doing that first 7 5 down to a 7, then an 8 on the B string. So it goes 8 7 5, then back to the 7, and then I kind of hold down on the E string the 5 as well as the 5 on the B. And I kind of just end on that chord. So that last section kind of goes like this. And then after that, it goes into like the second part of the verse, which is one of my favorite parts that I wrote, and it goes like this. So that's a lot to work with. I like to think of it as two different sections, and so the first part just starts on just that open, D flat. Then I slide up to an 11 on the G, then down to a 7, then a 12, then I think 5, 7. Yeah. So 5, 7. No, 7, 9, sorry. 11, back to the 7. So slowly that goes. So it's going to the 11, 9, 12, 7, 9. Yeah. To the 11, then the 7. Sorry, getting a little mixed up here. And then from there I go to the A string, or the A and the D. It starts on a 4, 4, 5, 7, then a 4, 5, 4 on the D. Then it goes up to 7 on that D string, then back to the 5 and the 4. And then it goes 5, 7, then a 4 and a 5 on the D, back to a 7 and a 5 on the A, and then it's like a 4, 5 on the A again. So solely that whole section goes like this. And that's just kind of like an open note palm mute mixed with a 5 on the A, because it's the same note. And then I like to call that the whole first section there. And then it goes like this, which is a little different. That whole part stays the same, but then it slides it to a 14 and a 12. So a 14 on the G and a 12 on the D. So. And then it goes to like the lower strings. So that's a 0, 2. Yeah. 0, 2, 4, then an open A, back to a 4 on the low string, and then open again. No, doesn't end on the open, it ends on a 2. And then it slides up to a 5 on the A. So and it kind of does like a little descending plus ascending part at the same time. So it goes. Fuck. So slowly it goes like this. So slides up to that 5, then it goes to 4 and a 2. Then it slides up to a 7, 5, 7. And then 4, 5, 4 on the D. And then So 7, 5, 4, and then that's on the D string, and then a far, or a 4, a 5, sorry, on the A string. So slowly that whole section goes. And then that's when it's doing the little build-up part for the chorus. And technically, I mean, you could either play that same part or play nothing, because that's all that's playing in that section of the song. The second time in that song, it's a little different, but I'll get to that later. So the chorus riff goes like this. That's the whole chorus for the leads. So let me slow it down for you. It slides up to a 9 on the D, and then a 7 on the G, and then it kind of goes with like a 9 pull off kind of thing. But yeah, it does go back to the D. I'm a terrible teacher. I just want you to know that. So after that first part, it slides up to an 11, back to the 9, 7, 6. Ends on that 7 part. And then it does a quick little part. So that part goes, which is like a 6, 7, 6, quick little hammer on pull up. And then a 9 on the D. And then a little descent from a 9, 7, 5, 4, so. No. Then it goes up to a 7. Then it ends on like a 5, 4, 5 on the A string. So slowly that goes like this. And then it goes to like a little different part, and it goes like this. So that is a 9 on the G string, and then it's doing like a 11, 8. Oh wait, sorry, it's not a 9, it's a 7. 7, so it does a 10, a 8, and a 7. And then a 9 on the G. And then it does like a 7, 6, 7 sort of thing. With an open D. So. And a lot of times when I'm doing that part, that note, I'll do like a little squealy. So that's that little section. Then it does a little change, and then it goes up to the 11 again, and then just a descent from, or not the 10, sorry, 10, 8, 7. And then it does the, but then it goes up to 9, 11, 7, 6, 7. And then goes to 6 again. And then it would go into the intro riff again. So let me try and explain that whole, or just go through it really slow so you can get the idea for the whole chorus again. Goes. And that's it for the chorus. So after that, it just does the intro riff again, which I already mentioned. And then it goes to like the second chorus, or the second verse, sorry, which has like the, you know, the real like punk kind of riff. So that's the first part of it. So you're starting, basically you're basing it off of this open D string, or open 6th string there, and you're just doing, so it's 4, 5, and a 7. You're doing some pull-offs from the 5 to the 4. And then you're doing a 7 and a 5 on the A string. And then it goes to, yeah, then it's going to basically the same thing, but a 5 on that low string. And then you're doing a slide from that 5, so up to the 7, and then, which is just a 5, 4, 5 again. And then you're doing a 4 on that low string. And then the same 4, 5 on that D string. And that's sort of the same thing that you're doing the first time around. And then a little build-up part, which is on the A string, 4, 5, 7, and then 4, 5 on the D string, and then back to the 7, 5. So you do that whole thing again, and then the last little build-up part changes. It goes up, but it doesn't come back down, so it goes. So that is 4, 5, 7 on the A and the D string, and then a 6, 7 on the G. So that whole section slow goes like this. So that's that whole section. And then you're doing just the pre-chorus again, which is just the. Same thing, nothing changes there. And then the same thing, the chorus, the second chorus is almost identical. So you're doing the. And then you're going back to. Except this very last part doesn't do that higher part, it just stays the same. So it goes. Just does that again. It doesn't do the. Doesn't do that. Excuse me. And then it just goes. chorus. And then this is when the rhythm part starts doing. That's that part. And you're just kind of waiting for it to build up. It starts doing this. And the solo goes like this, which is just a 7/9 on the A, or not the A, the D and the G string. And then, so that's 7/9, and then a quick slide to the 11. So you're just really going between those couple same notes. And then it goes. So that's a 7 and a 7 on the G and the B. Then it goes to an 8 on the B. And then 10. So. And it does like a quick little pull off on all three of those. Oh, and then it goes to the 9. So that's the whole first part. So that is a full bend on the 17 on the B string, and then a little like vibrato. And then, so that's a 14 on the E, and then a 17, 15, 14, 15 on the B. And then it's a little fast part. So it's doing, it's like a quick 14, 15, 17 twice. Then a 14, 15, back to the 14. I think that's how it goes. So 17, 15, 14 on the E, and then 17, 15, 14, 15 on the B. So this whole section goes. Something like that. How's it end? Yeah, so it's a quick 14, 15, 14. And then down to the 12. Back up to the 14. I can never remember this shit. So that part is, like I said, a quick 14, 15, 14, then down to the 12, and 14, 12, 10, and then 8, 10, 8, 10, 8. And then 9, 11, 7. So we do that whole part again. Oh yeah, I forgot about the 8 or the 7, 8 before it goes to the 9 on the G. So let me do the whole solo again a little slower, just because when I keep doing like little sections it kind of fucks me up a little bit. So that's the solo. And other than that, it goes to the very last section, which is the and then the and that's really the lead section there. But like I said, Grant Henry does play a little lead lick over that. That kind of just follows that. Follows that a little bit. I'm sure you can hear it when you listen to the song. But I don't know how to play it. So I'll leave that a mystery. Hopefully I explained this well enough. You know, it's about as good as I can really explain it without writing down tabs, and I really don't feel like writing tabs because tabs are boring and I don't like writing them, and you're not really going to learn much just from reading tabs all the time. So hopefully this very long video helped. I don't even want to know how long it took me to do all this. But I'll be doing more for other songs. Like I said, I'll definitely do some for Haste and One of Everything. And Valor will be a little tough because that has a lot of Grant in it. So, but we'll see. And I don't know, if you got any questions at all, just let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. So, see you later.